came up to me one day and said, do you really have to call it artist within? Because I feel like you can be creative in a lot more ways than just art, and they were right. They were right. So I just wanted to say right away that, when we talk about creativity, it doesn't just mean painting or playing music. It can also mean things like gardening, or how many of you are cooks? How many of you feel like you're a creative cook? How many people like your cooking? You never know, right? But you know what I mean? You can. Yeah, you're still alive. But you know what I mean? You can be creative, really, with anything you do. So it doesn't have to be art. So I wanted to just point that out right away. But so I noticed that when people would take my workshops, they would get happier as they were making breakthroughs. They had more energy. But something else I noticed is that they would look younger. Seriously, somebody would make a breakthrough and they would look younger, and it would stick. And it took me a while to connect the dots that what was happening in my workshops is not only were people finding some outlet to be creative in, but they were also getting healthier. And now it turns out there's all this research that shows that there actually is a link between creativity and health. How many of you are surprised by that? Nobody. Oh, okay. Does anybody care to say why you're not surprised by that? Yeah, please.
Research has found out.
Oh, hold on. He wants to. Yeah. Yeah.
Research has shown that being positive helps your immune system.
Yes.
And I learned that back when I was 17 years old in Germany with a doctor who was trying to cure my cancer. And he told me to be positive. And he found out those that were more negative didn't last as long.
Thank you for sharing that.
Okay.
I really appreciate that, and that's right. You're right. So I'm going to go into that a little in more detail, but in general, just sort of an overview of what they're finding is if you spend some time being creative or having a creative point of view on the world, and I'll explain what that is in a little while. It lowers stress. It lowers anxiety. It cuts depression. It makes you happier. Isn't that cool? Yeah. It boosts your immune system, and it actually decreases the severity of chronic illnesses, cancer, arthritis, asthma, HIV, fibromyalgia. And when I say these things, these are all different researchers who are showing this. They're not all working together. This is what's fascinating to me. I don't think a lot of them even know about each other, but I've been reading and reading and reading, and it is absolutely fascinating. And also, this is the best part, if you spend a little bit of time being creative, you live longer. You actually live longer, and you live a better life. How many of you believe me? I got this side of the room. I got some. Okay, you're nodding. Okay, all right. I was blown away by that, and I can go into. If you want to ask me questions towards the end, I can explain to you why that is. But okay, so why is this important today? Because we are so stressed out. We are more stressed out than we've ever been in our society. I don't know how many of you are aware of this, but Americans now are putting in longer work hours and getting shorter vacation times than any other developed country in the world. Did you know that?
Yes.
Including Japan. And we're running around stressed out of our minds. And you can see some statistics up there. 83% of Americans are stressed out by their jobs. That's a lot of people. Some physicians believe that 80% of our illnesses are stress-related. And I just dug this little fact up a couple of days ago. I didn't know this one. Right now, there are more 65 and older people in the United States than any time in U.S. history. And it's going up. So if it's going to increase your lifespan and increase the quality of your life, there's a lot of people that might be interested in that fact, right? Yeah? Okay. So, what is creativity? You know, a lot of people feel like it's this mysterious thing that happens. You know, you just sit in a room and, wow, somebody's being creative out there. And it descends upon you, and, you know, and there you have an idea. It's actually not that mysterious. And it's not just about art. And it's not just about science. It's actually a skill that we all have and we all had as children. And we just tend to lose it as we get older because, basically because we're told to conform to, you know, what our families want us to do, to what our teachers want us to do. And the more we conform, the more we lose our individual sense of how we look at the world. And that's where a lot of creative ideas come from. So you can get that back, and you can get better at it. And one definition of creativity, or there's two up here that I want to really point out, but one is just expressing yourself uniquely, which is just what I was referring to. When you start to conform to other people's ideas of who you should be, you don't express your own voice anymore, but you have your own voice, you have your own way of looking at the world. If I right now were to hand out pens and pieces of paper and ask all of you to write a poem, none of you would write the same poem. You all have different ways of expressing yourself, so you're all different from each other. So just finding that makes you creative right away. But the other thing I want to just keep in mind, because this is something that's been shown to be to correlate with health, is having a creative attitude. And a creative attitude means being open-minded, believing in possibilities. Okay, does anybody have any idea why that could lead to a healthier life? Do you want to say? Do you want to? Yeah. See, I'm getting you in physical shape.
You are. One of the three.
It gives you a reason to live.
It does give you a reason to live. If there's possibilities, there's always something else that you can do. Anybody else have any guesses? Yeah.
Well, if you're open-minded, you can still learn things.